Hello, everyone. No, oh, shit. Sorry, people. All right, better. Hello, everyone. Take two. Today's impromptu stream is going to be a little bit ranty. I've got a lot of things on my chest. Maybe some guests, if I can be asked to bring them on. Oh, look at the bags in my eyes. Can you see that? I can see it. It's going to be really ranty. I'm going to wait till more people arrive before I get into it. Hello, one person. Whoever you are, let me find out who you are. There we are. So I'm going to rant maybe about something innocuous in a minute. Something something that's really stupid, and basically something that we all know is true about feminists, but one of them actually admitted it to me. And you've probably seen her on my channel a few times. She's been on a few comment sections. So I'm going to rant, even though I've already sent her a message. I'm going to rant about it because I feel the need to rant about it, and then I think I'll rant about a few other things, and then I'll take questions from the chat as usual. I've just got a lot of things on my fucking chest, and I don't know if I should say some of them. So yeah, a lot of things going on recently in the community, but I'm going to spoil it if I tell you anything more. I'm an admin of some other group, so as I'm sharing this with the Facebook lot, it's also going to another place, and I never even asked to be the admin. I just became the admin. So let's wait for a few more. 2 people so far. Please, 3. Say something in the chat. Oh, hi. There you go. Oh, hi in the chat. Come on, people. Don't be shy. We're all friends here. Well, maybe not. But you are all my friends. Oh, S-Night. Hello there. How are you, you Geordie twat? I always get you. Hey, Jax. Liz, why do you have to show up, you French faggot? All right. I'm just going to share this on Skype. Come shitpost Omegan. By the way, he's getting big, isn't he? Right. I'm not sharing the Hangout link, just the stream link. I'll get into the rant in a minute. I'm just trying to get more people to watch the stream, all right? Give me a chance. This is what I do with my videos. This is what people have to do. You have to go everywhere and share it. I remember early on, don't do it on Reddit because they don't like it. They don't like people shilling. Sorry, I'm just doing shit. All right, okay, almost there, almost done. It's kind of annoying that some of these Discord chats, they just don't have a vid section, and some of them I must be advertising to people I don't even know. Oh dear. Doesn't matter much. All right, go to the Cabal, which is choose a loose stream. I mean server, whatever you fucking call it. I don't know. Okay. In the right it goes. Oh, I probably shouldn't have put it in the general. Oh well, fuck it. Okay, right. Now let me find this comment to rant about. Okay, so this comment, right, is from someone called Little Teapot, and it was made 3 hours ago, and I didn't get it until now because I wasn't checking my comments. And this is honestly some of the most stupidest shit I've ever heard. Okay, people. Oh, Omegan's in the chat now. Fish and Chimps. That's a good one. I like that name. Hi, Jax. Might have said hello before. Bryce Foss. Fuck you, Charmy man. Posting this in Discord. You don't have to watch it, Bryce. You are French. Okay, Choleric Shy Guy, you are French. Oh, MGTOW Psyche. Keep that in mind. Keep that in mind, okay? At least sort of. It's kind of not it's not really feminism talking about in regards to Islam in a bit, but do kind of keep that in mind because it's similar. Okay, I might answer your question in a bit. Okay, so this is Little Teapot. I've seen her many times before on my videos. This is what she does. This is what she says. You are a perfect example of why most of us with any sense hate men. You see? Feminists hate men. She's admitting it at least. Let's see if I can screen share this because it's not fair if you can't see it. Okay. Screen share. Comments. Here we are. Okay. Present to everyone just in case. Okay, can anyone see that? Can you see that? I'm just going to double check. I don't know if it's working. Ah, yeah, it's working. Good. If you're 25% French, I'm 25% Italian. But never mind. Let's continue. Okay, it's not working now. Okay, back to this. Back to this. Okay. Oh dear, I'm fucking it up. Because okay, here we are. Okay, it should work now. So let's get back to where we were, people. You are a perfect example of why most of us with any sense hate men. Us, as in feminists or women or human beings. She means feminists, really. That's what she means. But hey, at least she's honest about it. At least she's honest that most feminists hate men. Bear in mind, this is very important because she later goes on to say, she's not even a feminist. This is the girl I'm responding to. Remember the first feminist cringe video that I did? That girl who was complaining about old men or middle-aged men, because she said 30 years a senior. She's penning an open letter to men talking to her in bloody department stores. And apparently they were sexually harassing her, even though she doesn't actually describe anything like that. But that's the context. That's the video that she's responding to. She's not even a feminist. She is a feminist because if she wasn't a feminist, why was she put on a feminist networking site? Or rather, not a site, a channel. But the thing is, if she wasn't a feminist, she wouldn't be on there. But then again, they also put George Carlin on there. But he wasn't a feminist and he had a lot of criticisms for feminism. But whatever, let's continue. Just a woman who is sick and tired of being groped and sexually harassed. Nowhere in that video does she ever say that she was groped. She certainly says she felt sexually harassed, but that she felt it, not that she was. Okay, let's get that out there, okay? She didn't mention groping. She mentioned sexually harassed, but she wasn't at all the way she describes it. Any sane human being would know that is not sexual harassment and stop lying and stop straw-manning your own side and saying that she felt groped or was being groped. She wasn't. As a man, you'd like it if a strange woman grabbed your 2-inch dick, but try to put yourself in a woman's shoes for once. Not literally, unless that's your thing. I know it's hard because you hate women so much, but try to imagine what it's like dealing with a bunch of animalistic beasts who look at you as nothing but a piece of meat. I think it's their birthright to rape you and claim you as property. Right. So much wrong with this statement. I'll have to go through it in little bits and pieces, people. And this is what really pissed me off. Okay, here we go. I know as a man, you'd like it if a strange woman grabbed your 2-inch dick. So, firstly, she's using sexualized insults against me. If I said that she would like it if lesbian women went around groping her in the pussy, grab her by the pussy, right? That would be considered sexist. But it's okay for, this is the thing in this comment, there's so much contradictions in it. It's okay for her to attack my manhood, to attack my person, and then says I'd be okay with being raped by a strange woman. I'm sorry, but just because I'm a man doesn't mean that I don't have standards, and that doesn't mean that I won't feel strange. I have been grabbed by women, and by the way, they weren't necessarily strange. They were just bullies. And this is, I mean, this is back in high school, but I've had it since then. Okay, in varying different contexts, but I didn't like it. You know why? One, because they were stupid, because they thought that I was stupid enough to fall for the fact that they were groping me, and therefore this meant that they must like me, even though I knew they didn't. I couldn't concentrate in class. I couldn't have peace and quiet because they kept touching me and saying all these things. It's like the teacher wouldn't do anything. I knew if I complained, they would call me gay, even though I'm not. Men have these issues too. Unlike you, we can't go and tell anybody and report these people because of societal attitudes. I would feel as uncomfortable as if you were groped. And by the way, they don't have to be strange. They don't have to look strange. If they're groping me for no reason, it's uncomfortable. If I don't want it, that is. But it doesn't matter what they look like. If they're doing it and I don't want it, I don't want it and I won't like it. Let's move on, people. But try to put yourself in a woman's shoes for once. Not literally, unless that's your thing. So now you're joking about transvestitism, and people confuse the two between that and transsexuals. But is that meant to be a joke? Because, you know, feminists aren't meant to joke about that. But hey, you know what? It's okay when they do it. But when we do it, it's wrong. I know it's hard because you hate women so much, but try to imagine what it's like dealing with a bunch of animalistic beasts who look at you as nothing but a piece of meat, and then they think you should birthright to rape you, claim your property. Firstly, nowhere in that video, nowhere in my entire channel, because you watched a few of my videos, or at least claim to have I mentioned or even shown a hatred for women. I have nothing but respect for a lot of women, because they do put up with a lot of shit. They put up with your shit, making them look bad. They put up with male feminists and white knights, because not all feminists are white knights, but a lot of all white knights are feminists. They put up with a lot of shit. Also, men put up with a lot of shit, and those people overcome that shit to become decent human beings and successful at life. And those are the people that I respect. Those individuals. I respect women. I respect men too. I've said that women are not weak. I've said that women can be strong, that men can be strong, that they can rise above these problems and not need anybody's help. Feminists think women are weak, that they need to be mollycoddled, and that they need men to fix all their issues. And what I like is, in this, she says that I hate women, as if it's worse than her hating men, as if me criticizing this woman is the reason why she hates men so much, because we're critical. But it's the contradictions, it's the double standards here that just really pisses me off about all this. I'm sorry, but just because you think that all men are animalistic beasts, which, you know, we know this anyway. We know that this is what you think we are. We're nothing but animals. But I don't think I have a birthright to rape anyone. I'm sorry, but only rapists think that, because they're psychopaths. They're sociopaths. Normal men, who are about 99% of the population, who are not psychopaths, who are not sociopaths, don't think that. And what do you mean by rape? Do you mean to have sex? Because sex is not rape if it's consensual. You are a fucking moron, Teapot. You are a radfem moron. Let me guess. Can transsexuals not be considered real women if they're male to female? I'm just wondering what you are, because you're a radfem. I'm just trying to figure out which one. Tried to claim women as property. I'm sorry, but it seems to me that when it comes to the courts and the legal system, men's money is a woman's property, even if she doesn't even earn it, if she doesn't provide anything, it's just him. I'm just wondering, because I've never met a man who thinks women are his property. But in the Middle East, there are definitely a lot of them who think that. Just wondering. But hey, apparently I do. Apparently these mythical people in the West think this. Try to imagine that. I can't possibly imagine it because I don't live in that situation. I can imagine it in the Middle East, but not here. I'm not like that. That's what it's like being a woman. No, that's not what it's like being a woman, and you fucking know it. That might be what it's like in the third world, but not over here. I do not want to own a woman. I do not want to rape a woman. I want to be in a loving relationship with a woman where we help each other and we work with each other and we have a good time. That's what I want. I don't want to be her property. I don't want her to be my property. I want us to be individuals. Fucking moron. And why is it that you're asking me to empathize with women, but you don't have to empathize with men? Why is it feminists always do that bullshit? And it pisses me off. I fucking hate it. It's fucking annoying. These double standards. And yet they wonder why they're failing as an ideology, why people are waking up. Fuck me. Right. That's that first rant over. Now I need to stop presenting because I've got a Facebook message and I don't want you to see that. Okay, people. Now I'm going to talk to the chat for a bit because I can't have two rants at the same time. Okay, let's have a look. Yeah. Okay. Just reading you people. Yeah, very funny, Victor. Yeah, apparently I hate women, Bryce. Touching people on the arm is sexual harassment. It is, apparently. That's what that Anna said. That's what's funny. It is body shaming. I hold doors for everyone. That's the thing. It's basic manners, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. I know. If I don't want it, I must be gay. You missed an epic rant, Andrew Dahl. That's what you missed. Not me. Now, okay. Since there's not a lot of questions, but we seem to have attracted a lot of people through that rant. Okay. Right. This doesn't really have anything to screen share. Oh, hi, Dave. But there's things that have been going on in our quote-unquote community, or at least in my group of friends, or at least the circle that I hang around in or are privy to. And it's to do with Islam, as one of the MGTOWs said, but it's not really anything to do with feminism, but one side has a lot in common with the feminists, whereas the other side do not. And I am, of course, talking about the drama between the honey badgers and the so-called rationalist people who seem to not be able to get into their heads that maybe both men and women have issues in Islamic countries and in the Middle East as a whole, and that the situation is incredibly nuanced, and there are different situations, not just in regions, but in countries and in laws and in social attitudes. And this can either benefit men, this can either benefit women, or it can be to the detriment of either. And they don't seem to grasp that. It's like the little teapot there. She can't grasp that she also needs to be empathetic to men, but for some reason demands that I be empathetic to women and to an extension her. These people don't seem to get that. And yeah, people, you know who I'm talking about. You know, people like Spino, Fiffin, D, Jess. Is it Rawsome Sauce? There's a few people called Raw on Twitter. Now, this is the one that I was worried about getting off my chest, but I really have to because I'm getting really pissed off with this fucking witch hunt that they've been going after Doc and HBR for daring to suggest as MRAs that men have issues in the Middle East. I mean, they didn't deny that women didn't have issues. They never denied that women had issues. They just said, oh, look, men have these issues. And yet D and Rawsome Sauce and Fiffin and then Spino has to tag along because if D sees any ounce of wrong think from him, she'll have a domestic. He has to tag along. And they attacked them. They just freaked out because as MRAs, they say men have issues and they want to talk about these issues because they're MRAs. They're not, oh, I'm only going to fight for Western men in the courts and all that. Middle Eastern men, they don't have issues. They've got all the rights. Yet these people can't say that that's what feminists say about men in general. That really annoys me. And the problem is, I would love to really get into this whole argument, and I will eventually in the future. But I don't feel like I'm really educated enough on Islam, and I need to like really read up on what's going on over there. I make sure that I don't find biased sources when I'm doing it. So over the next month or two, I'm probably going to be just reading the Quran and Hadiths and looking up the situation in every country. in the region, not just Saudi Arabia, because they're obsessed with Saudi Arabia, even though there are other Islamic countries with their own rules and social practices. Remember, we were talking about the burqa, and I'm like, you do know that in many Islamic countries, it's banned. Like in Tunisia, it's banned. In Chad, it's banned. There's a few others as well. I think they allow the niqab, but you're not allowed to wear it in certain places. So technically, that can't be socially enforced there because the state is cracking down on it. But whatever. I'm probably and Spino couldn't seem to really get his head around that maybe not all of the Middle East are socially pressuring people, even though a lot of it is. I never denied that, but he didn't define his terms, so I assumed you were talking about the law and all that, the state. And yeah, Islam and feminism profit rich people at the top. That's what they do. But I'm talking about these so-called MRAs and so-called egalitarians who get triggered at the mere mention of men having issues. But the thing is, they're not the only ones. I saw Tyler Preston fall for it. I saw Wizard of Cause fall for it. I saw quite a few people fall for this dumb fucking argument that men don't have issues in the Middle East. When of course they fucking do. Now look, I'm willing to concede right here, and I've told them this, that women have the short end of the stick. But that stick is incredibly fucking short anyway. And as Little Miss Anonymous told me once, it's like if you to rate it in terms of 5, like out of 5, or maybe no, what was it? Was it out of 5? 5 stars or something. It'd be like men are 3, women are 4, or something like that. I can't remember exactly, but yeah, it's something like that. That the difference isn't that much. But D will have you believe that men don't have issues. Women are like horribly oppressed, like 1984 style, and it's all 10 men's fault. But as I like to quote Jajabor the Nomad, at what point do we blame the women? Because a lot of these women are complicit in teaching their kids this ideology and these social norms and practices, because in a lot of countries like that, and a lot of cultures, the men's place is at work and also by extent ruling, but the women's place is the home, and that's where the kids are brought up, the home. So these women are teaching these kids this behavior. Now, some of the kids will obviously disassociate themselves from it at the detriment of their lives, and good on them. But some of them will take it and say, yeah, this is my culture. This is what I believe in. I like this. And then you can't blame the men for that if the women are teaching it and if the women like it. I'm not saying that they all do. I'm trying to keep it as nuanced as possible in this stream. But as Jajabor said, you have to blame those mothers. You have to blame those teachers. I don't know if women can teach in Islam, actually. Well, some of them can in some Islamic countries. But yeah, you have to blame them too, because they're basically teaching the oppression and repression. Because a lot, I've noticed, and I can't really prove it yet, but I might be able to prove it eventually as I look more into this. I think Islamic countries oppress other countries that they've conquered or tried to conquer, but they repress their own populations. So a lot of what we're dealing with is repression rather than oppression, if you know what I mean, people. And D will use the fact that, oh, I come from the Middle East. I know about this. It's like, you do not know what you're talking about. And just because you live there doesn't mean that you know what's going on and you know what men are dealing with. Because it seems to me that you don't. And you're no better than the Western women. D is Spino's girlfriend. Islam Apologia, exactly, yes, night. Basically, you're like the Western feminists. They live here, yet they're totally oblivious / willfully ignorant of men's issues in their own countries. You are exactly the same, but in the Middle East. only it's okay for you to say that because you're an oppressed atheist woman in the Middle East. Now, I know atheists will get killed there in a lot of states. I'm not saying that. I'm not trying to downplay that or anything. I'm just saying that you're given a free pass to say that type of shit that we wouldn't give to Western women. And that pisses me off because you need to be held to the same standard. And when you do get called out on this, you then also say, oh yeah, I do know men who've had their genitals hacked off, or at least circumcised. I know men who've been killed, yet apparently men don't have any issues. Seriously. You are doing the same backpedaling they do, and Spino, Fiffin, and Jess are all defending you. Like, I remember Spino loved that man card video. He agreed with the man card video that Doc released. Yeah, Dee has a little spat with him, and now he's U-turned. She doesn't want him to think for himself. She wants him to think like she thinks. Although I don't know why. I'm not going to speculate why. I just assume that she's just very controlling. And you know what? I used to be really happy for him that he got a girlfriend and he found love. Because the first person he tried to get with, I'm not going to name any names. I don't want to, because I respected the first time. I respected at the time he didn't want it to be common knowledge. So I'm going to respect it now. But I felt that that girl who he fancied used him just for research. She used him as a tool for research. Not for views, because she was bigger than him. But, she did kind of take advantage of him. And I thought, finally, he's found someone who won't do that. And, well, I was wrong. But I could be wrong. Maybe everything's fine there. Maybe she convinced him with evidence, but I doubt it. Yeah, lots of bloggers got killed. And Dee is leading this witch hunt against them. She's turning Spino against Doc because they disagree now, because Dee says he has to. And it's sad. It's truly sad. And I need to get this off my chest because I've not had a chance to. Like, I briefly said some things on Twitter, but it's Twitter. I'm not going to be able to say everything. No, it's not internalized misandry. It's just doing stuff because you're afraid. But this is conjecture, but he's probably afraid she'll leave him. And honestly, if I had a girlfriend who wouldn't let me think for myself and may leave me if I step out of line, I would leave her. I wouldn't even get with her. Because I don't know if anyone who's from Britain has noticed, if anytime you're on Tinder, right, or on OkCupid or any of the dating stuff, right, you'll notice some girls, particularly if they're on the left, will say, swipe left if you're Tory, or don't respond to me, or don't ask me out on a date if you're this kind of ideology. And now, unless they're actual fascists, right, because, me being mixed race, I really couldn't get with someone like that. That's as far as I go. Or maybe, and it's the same with left-wing extremists too, by the way. I will just ignore those people and move and just not approach them because they're narrow-minded. So, yeah, I know that's not the best way I can describe it, but yeah, no Bloodwing. I like Spino. I've always considered him as a little brother of sorts. My little autistic brother, and the big autistic brother. I was happy for him that he got a girl, but I think she's the wrong fit. But I mean, I don't. It's weird. I don't dislike Dee as a person, but she's making it hard for me to, continue to like her with this crap that she's pulling. And Spino's response to a rant, an hyperbolic, almost a rant that was based in hyperbole and analogy, he took it seriously. It was in a Rationing thing, and apparently he'd only just seen it for the first time, which I don't believe, but whatever. I know you do, Greg. I know you do. But it's like, he took it literally, even though he's not talking about what he thinks Doc is talking about. Doc is talking about how men are being used to fight culture wars, and men are just pawns and they're tools and they're expendable. That's what he's talking about, because traditionalists and feminists both believe this. They believe that men are expendable. They believe that men are tools and that's all they're good for. That's exactly what he's pointing out. Yeah, apparently it's about the Middle East and the war and how women were used to justify it, even though the main justification in the West was WMDs, but also they wanted to topple Saddam Hussein's government to liberate people. Does anyone actually remember the rhetoric that George W. Bush and Tony Blair were using? And even though they didn't invade Saudi Arabia, as I think Jax and I talked about, they did mention that women had issues in the Middle East, and they were going to address at least some of that, or try and pressure them into addressing it. No mention of men. Nobody talked about men while all this was happening. No, they didn't. Now, it wasn't the main reason, and to be honest, Doc wasn't really talking about that anyway, but that is a reason. And especially when when the insurgency happened and when all the other stuff happened and when Saddam was defending the country, they're going to attack our women and stuff like that. That's what they were doing. And it's just, it's infuriating. I can't stand it. I've got this off my chest almost. But it's like, how can someone who calls himself an Fiffin's an MRA too. How could two men one's a boy, the other one's a man, but okay, how could two guys call themselves fucking MRAs when they can't even be MRAs for men in the Middle East because they're men from the Middle East? It's just insane. It's almost, I'm not going to say it's bigotry. It sounds like bigotry to me, though. Like you're being bigoted towards these guys. You're being ignorant of their problems because they come from a particular area. That's no different to feminists being feminists being willfully ignorant of men's issues everywhere, but particularly the West, because they don't talk about the East. So you're talking like feminists. You are. And Spino, you're a smart guy. Fiffin, I don't care about you. But Spino, think. Like I told Tim, think about what you're saying. Mull it over. You'll see that you're talking absolute bollocks. I'm not even an MRA. And I'm consistent on this matter. Even if I will concede that women might have it more, might have the short end of the stick. It looks like it. I've yet to really conclusively prove it. And I might prove myself wrong. I don't know. When I eventually make a video on this in a couple months' time and I've done all my research. But come on. Come on, guys. You're supposed to know all this shit. You're MRAs. HBR are being consistent. They're being consistent with their beliefs. Oh, well, Liz, you could be right. Men could have it more. I don't know. That's for me to find out. And yeah, that's the thing. Whenever they talk about the Middle East, they're actually talking about Saudi Arabia. They're not talking about the whole place. Because as we know, there are tiny little oil states. There are island nations. There are other landlocked countries. And they all have different ethnicities as well. They're not all Arabs. Iranians are Persian. Turkish people are Turkish. Like, oh God, Kurds are Kurds. Turkmen are Turkmen. They're all different ethnicities. They have different cultures that span different time spans. They all have different ideas of how Islam works and how the law should work and what men and women are like. And it's like, they're not all the same. They base all their laws on one book. But as we know, Islam is as fractured and segmented as Christianity is. And they all have different ideas. it's not rocket science to think that, yeah, they have different ideas. I mean, Tunisia, that's had a French influence, which probably explains why they banned the burqa. I don't know. Just saying. Women in Dundee have it bad. Yeah. Women in Newcastle have it bad, don't they, S-Night? It really saddens me to see Spino, who's a really good YouTuber, and, you know, he's an MRA and all that. He's a good MRA. Fucking stoop this low. I mean, I expect it of Fiffin, but not Spino. Like, when Jordy, but when I found out that, you know, during the man card thing and Spino was agreeing, apparently he got a lot of group pressure from Fiffin and Rawsome Sauce, whatever she's called, Jess, is it? And that doesn't surprise me. You know, this is the same Fiffin. I don't know if I should be open about this. Fuck it. This is the same guy who unsubbed from me and is generally not as nice to me anymore because I covered drama. Bear in mind, drama he didn't like on my channel, and he considers me a drama whore, even though I did a parody of Dean Esme, which you could consider drama, because he was getting into drama on Twitter over atheism and Christianity. He loved that video, and he liked some of the early drama videos. So, no, I don't like him, Coleridge Shy Guy. I don't like him. And he doesn't like me. It's kind of mutual. So, yeah. I'm not surprised that Fiffin did do that. I was surprised about D initially because I thought she was going to be the one for Spino. But what's interesting is none of these people I've ever met. Okay, I think Spino has met Fiffin, but they've not met their girlfriends. These are supposed to be their girlfriends. Yet they've not met them. They're like thousands of miles away. At least when I want to date someone, I meet them or have met them. But that's just me. Maybe I'm old-fashioned. But how the hell have these girls managed to change their ideological outlook on the world so quickly? They're not even met. They're not even. You can't even call it pussy whip. Nah, Jess freaks me out. Like, Fiffin is far too young for her. Far, far too young. She's in her mid-20s. He's not even 18 yet. If he was 18, that's fine, because he'd be 19 or 20 eventually, but he's not. He's 17. He just turned 17. That's freak. That's almost grooming. I don't know what it is. But hey, whatever. I know. I'm 23 next month. Dave, fuck me. I actually dated someone once that I knew for a week. But hey, whatever. You learn. Hi, Otterface. Oh, God. Anyway, people. I think I've probably ranted enough. Probably burned bridges by accident. But whatever. I had to get it off my chest. I don't consider it personal. It's just shit that I think. Okay, maybe it's personal Fiffin, but whatever. This isn't going to get privated or anything. They can go watch it if they want. I don't care. So, questions from the floor. Oh, Megan, you're just a bloody Easterner. Mate, this is live, Liz. They're going to know. Some of them watch my channel. So, I do care for Spino. He's like a little brother to me. Because he reminds me when I was... Well, he's older than what he reminds me of when I was 16. No, I'm not going to guilt by association anyone like they've been doing, but like Spino, when I first met him, reminded me of when I was 16 in school. You know, naive, not really. Okay, well, he's more mature than me than I was, but not by much. You know, figuring stuff out, impressionable, all that kind of stuff. Only he's not as cynical as I am now. He reminds me a lot of me. And, you know, I felt at the very beginning, me, him, Griffiths, Fiffin, I think we all had a good friendship thing going, but now it's a bit different now. We seem a bit more distant than we used to be. Yeah. A little bit. But, you know, whatever. So, anyone got any questions? I want to take my mind off this. Why not change it with plastic surgery? Oh, can you think of someone other than Trigglypuff Vic? Come on. Please evacuate the... How much do I love you? I don't love you. I've heard of shit Reddit says. I've heard of shit Tumblr says and shit everybody says. Why no CDs in the background? Because I don't live there anymore, Choleric Shy Guy. Isn't it clearly obvious that it's a different flat? Oh, wait, no, I lived in the house back then. The CDs are over there. They're right next to me. Oh, to begin with the Dance of the Dead, Red Dead. Oh, dear. Eat fuck. Oh, God, people. I let that out of my chest. It's good to get it out of my chest. I would have made a video today, but I'm trying to keep, you know, I'm trying to keep it at least a little bit spaced out these days so I can stream more. I'm not twerking for you, Megan. I can't twerk. I can't move my bum like that. How big is my CD collection? It's bigger than your mum. No, I'm not going to twerk, Jax. I'm not going to twerk. Feminism is for flat-chested men. That doesn't even make sense. So it's not for guys who have man tits. I guess that explains why TJ isn't a fucking feminist. Now look, let's get into that Candid shit. I want to talk about that Candid shit. Let's have another rant, shall we? So Candid. I've noticed what Candid. Wait, is Habib here? Oh, Cancer's just being cancerous. I thought Habib was here for a second then. Because he is sub to me. At least I think he is. But anyway, basically, Candid. So the first person I actually saw shill it was actually, you mean Sweetheart? Okay, no. It was actually TJ who originally brought it to my attention, but I didn't care for it because I'm just like, oh, it's just a social media app. I've got plenty of them already. Shit, you know? So I ignored it. Then more people. So I think it may have been either... Oh, who would have been the second one? Shu, I think. Shu did it. Computing Forever did a shill for it. Eventually, yeah, he did. And then Skeptic, and then some black guy during the fucking... during the height of the drama. Oh, God. Yeah, bad fucking thing. I know. Did you see the rant, just out of interest? You'll see it in a bit. Well, this is awkward, people. Well, that's an NDA. Non-disclosure agreement. Yeah. So basically, then Harmful makes his videos because he was researching it, and then fights will start eventually, but fuck you. I have to go back then. Yeah, mate, you're gonna have to go back. I ranted. You won't like the second rant, but eventually, he realised, oh shit, this is actually not as anonymous. It's not about free speech. And he lays out his case. He makes videos. He gets everybody on that side panicked, and they freak out. And then all their arguments are rubbish because all they talk about is how good the app is. They don't actually address the issues that he has. So every time they try to explain it, they make it sound worse than it actually is. And then eventually, TJ, he did this. He started tweeting and hating on Harmful, and I'm a Skeptic was disingenuous about it and just being stupid. And then that Ask.fm thing came up when someone asked TJ about about harmful, and it's like, oh, he's trying to remove my revenue. They're paying me because of all the demonetization issues and all this, that, and the other. Oh, woe is me. And it's like, mate, demonetization is easily fought against. I have won every single case. I barely have like 0 something percent of your bloody subscriber base. I've won every single one. Right now, that retarded news thing, was it redacted media? Is it retarded media, redacted thing? You know, I did the play on words that got demonetized. I fought it and I won. Fuck you, Charm. This is bullshit. It is bullshit, isn't it? What you guys been up to? It is bullshit. I did not fucking lie. Nothing I said there is a lie. Point out the lies. It's not a straw man. This is what I've been fucking seeing on Twitter. This is what I've been seeing in videos. Well, fine. You think I'm a piece of shit? I'm a piece of shit. I'm just telling you how I see it. You know I'm one of the most honest people here. Well, you know, I had to get it off my chest, mate. That's how I feel. Have I grabbed the girl by the pussy? No, I have not grabbed the girl by the pussy. Exactly. Strawcrow. I've already said what I need to say. He knows what I said. We can do it on Skype. We've already argued about this before. Hell in a cell. We'll hash it out on Skype. I don't need to do it in front of all you guys. S-Night, you. Come on. Do you want to come on then? Fine. Let's do this then, if you're so interested. Although I'm warning you, it isn't going to be pretty. Hang on, let me find you. Where are you? Here we go, people. We wait. It's only Twitter spy now. There you are. So, are you ready?
Yep.
Go ahead.
Where did ID, Fiffin or Jess ever say that men don't have issues in the Middle East? Ever?
On Twitter. That's what she says. That's what D said.
That?
D.
Where? Go on. Quote her.
On Twitter. I don't have the bloody tweets on me after weeks of being buried by other tweets that she made.
Well, I know.
S-Night
didn't say that.
S-Night always took screenshots of it. You can ask him. He's got them. Let me see if I can find them. S-Night, get me the tweets, goddammit.
Because I'm pretty sure D has multiple times said that men
only
have
when
issues
she was
in the Middle
pressured.
East.
Only when she was pressured.
Pressured?
Before she said that they didn't have any.
That's entirely bullshit.
Backpedaling.
I know.
I
know what she thinks, and we have spoken. We talk every day.
I know you do. I'm not denying that. You're together. Of course you talk every day.
Yeah. So I think I have a better grip on her positions than you do.
I'm sure you do, unless you're just biased, which you could be, and that's not a bad thing.
Her second biggest issue, other than the stop enslaving Saudi women thing, and this is something I said in my last video, is the next issue that's probably going to become a big thing is sponsorship law. That overwhelmingly affects men. It
better do, because I don't see her doing anything about it. She seems to be just denying.
She can't talk about it in her country. While she's still there, it's actually a genuine threat to talk about it.
Which country is this anyway? Because it's either Syria, Turkey, or Saudi Arabia. I'm just wondering.
No, I can't say anything because obviously
I know,
I'm trying to keep her her identity as secret as possible.
I respect that, but it doesn't help that I don't know which area it is.
All I'm going to say is it's a Gulf state. It's a Gulf state. That's all.
Okay. That's fine. I don't mind that, a Gulf state. But again, they all have different cultures there, so.
They have different cultures, but they all have sponsorship law, where basically it gives immigrants who come in are basically 100% beholden to their employers, and this is something that even and Sargon's talked about it. He did it in the Young Turks video when obviously Alex Jones went off on TYT.
Oh yeah, that one. Yeah, I remember that.
And then Sargon explained that basically because immigrants are beholden to their employers, the way employers treat them is basically equivalent to modernized slavery.
Mm-hmm. Is that like the Qatar World Cup thing with those workers? Is that the sponsorship thing?
That is this. Yeah, that's sponsorship, and that's the tip of the iceberg. The majority of Qatar's population, that's one country that does it and is quite well known for it, is basically migrant slaves.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah,
they all come from neighboring countries and in Africa because that's traditionally where their slave trade was. As we all know.
And it's in other Gulf states as well. It happens in Saudi. It happens in UAE. It happens in Kuwait. This is something that fucking and Dee does really care about, but she can't talk about it.
Well, she seems to be talking a lot on Twitter, so.
No, even on Twitter, she can't really explain the nuances because the 140 characters and shit. This is actually quite a complicated topic.
Anyway, S Knight sent me this tweet. Let's have a look. Is this the one, S Knight? Can you say something in the chat? Let me just find the chat.
Let's hear it.
Let me just check. Okay, yeah, this is it. This is what it's on Facebook because we know each other. It starts off with you. What privileges are those? And some guy called Hardcore Liberal. Even as a gay man and an atheist ex-Muslim who fled the Middle East, I acknowledge that my being male endows me with many privileges. And then Haram goes, isn't it quite obvious? You know for a fact that I would have all my problems solved if I was a man, right? So
yeah, she's talking about trying to get out. It would be extremely easy to get out if she were male.
That's not what she's saying. She didn't say.
Yeah, that's what she means by all her problems.
Well, she's not being particularly specific.
Yeah, she's not being particularly specific because she's talking directly to me. There is
how do we know? How do we know she's saying that? How do we know? How do we know it's not political problems and not? Well, to an extent that is, but how do we not know this?
How do we know that? Because it's obvious. It's obvious because of the context. The tweet she's responding to is is something about a guy leaving the Middle East, and then she said, "Oh, I would have all my problems," and we were constantly talking all that day about the issues with her getting out.
Okay, sure. But she just seems to have that male privilege thing going on down there. But we know.
Are there not privileges men have in the Middle East?
There's more nuance in that. There's more nuance in that, and you know it. Like you said, the sponsorship.
I didn't say. I didn't say that. That I am asking you: do men have privileges in the Middle East? Do they? Is that something that happens? Are there laws that only discriminate against women?
I'm not saying that they don't exist. What I'm saying,
yes, exactly.
Therefore, wait. I wasn't finished. So you can't just go and gotcha me just fucking yet, mate. All right. Let me explain what I was about to say. Yes, there are laws and social norms that do discriminate against women. I've never denied this. I said that women have the short end of a very, very short stick. But you guys flipped out when the Honey Badgers suggested that, men also have issues and there are some laws
that's not what anyone has ever taken issue to.
That's what she took issue with.
Not what I've taken issue to, and not what Dee has taken issue to. It's the
then how come you flipped over the man card video? You liked that video that Doc came out with.
Yes, I understood the frustration. I understand the frustration. The core message was entirely fine. Yes, men do have issues in the Middle East, and it would be great if people talked about them.
Then why are you debating with them about it? Why are you saying that?
Because I don't. Because that's not the only issue. That's not the only one. That's not the only thing they've said. Their podcasts are not 3 hours of men have issues in the Middle East. Men have issues in the Middle East. Men have issues in the Middle East. Just because that is their core message doesn't mean that they haven't said things false.
Then what have they said that's false?
Okay, so what? So you don't think the last video I did, the last video I did said anything false in it?
He wasn't even being literal. It was hyperbole and an analogy. That's what he was using. He was saying how traditionalists and feminists both see men as expendable materials.
Then why did
Doc
not tell me that directly and say, look, this is you've misunderstood me. This is what I meant.
Well, he probably thinks that you're intelligent enough to work out what he's saying. Or maybe he doesn't want to get involved anymore. I don't know. I don't know what Doc's thinking.
He doesn't want to get. So he doesn't want to get involved anymore. So instead,
I don't know what he's thinking. How am I supposed to know? You're asking me about something that's suggests psychic powers.
You're the one taking issue to my criticism, and I'm explaining my position on it. I'm explaining why I'm criticizing, and then you're saying, "Oh, I don't know. I don't know them motives.
You asked me what he's thinking. I don't know what he's thinking. I could only conjecture as to what he's thinking.
Then why are you taking issue if you don't know? If you don't know the situation, if you don't know the situation, then why are you asking?
Why are you taking literal though? You know he's always hyperbolic.
Yeah, but there was nothing.
Everything he says in that one rant is hyperbolic, and it's about something completely different. He knows. Everyone knows that the war started because of WMDs and stuff like that, not women. Even though they did mention it, particularly with Saudi Arabia, but they didn't mention men's issues or anything like that. That on the other side, they were using that argument. You know, Saddam and the terrorists and all that, which is understandable because that's how you get propaganda. But it's like, that wasn't the main point. That was the analogy to explain how traditionalists, like that girl in that video, are no better than feminists.
That was a really shit way to do it.
Maybe in your opinion. It did come out of nowhere.
And I don't think saying false things actually really leads.
He wasn't really saying anything false.
If it was hyperbole, then that is intentionally false. And it wasn't obvious hyperbole.
It was pretty obvious because that's what he does. That's his thing. It's quite obviously hyperbole in his speech patterns and everything.
Well, then it should have been easier for him to just say, "Look, that was hyperbolic. This is what I actually meant." But no, that was not what I got back. That was not what I got in response. You cannot say that the honey badgers or Doc or any of the people who have taken issue to anything I've said are entirely innocent in this.
I'm not saying they're innocent. I'm just.
That's how you painted it.
I've not painted them as entirely innocent.
Well, this witch hunt, that implies innocence.
Well, it is a witch hunt, what you guys have been doing. Bloody, what? Tyler Preston jumped in making videos on him. Who else made videos on him? You've done it.
I'm not Tyler Preston.
I'm not saying that you're not Tyler Preston. What? So I can repeat that?
I'm not Tyler Preston.
I'm not saying you are. I'm just saying that he jumped in on it. I'm not saying that you are.
You didn't mention Tyler Preston until now.
No, I didn't. I mentioned him before. I know I did. At least in my rant, I did say that.
You probably mentioned him several minutes into the rant.
The thing is, in this so-called community, at least in our circles, the number one thing nobody likes being labelled Islamic apologist. And that's what you guys are doing. If that's not a witch hunt, I don't know what is.
So downplaying child marriage.
Where have they
downplaying forced marriage?
You asked me for evidence. I provided evidence. Where have they said that? And also, where did Doc say the burqa thing?
There is.
But you didn't prove that in our conversation before. Yeah, I have to prove my statements.
Oh yeah. No, there is. No. I'll go and get the link.
Go on then.
Hang on. No, that's not it. Skepo uploaded a video.
Oh yeah, Skepo.
Yeah, and I'll post it. I'll send it to you on Twitter.
Okay. Right. Now screen share. Right, here we are. Right.
Wait.
Well, so what's the time? What's the timestamp now? Oh wait, do we need to use sound because I don't have speakers? I don't have speakers, so
give me a sec.
Oh, this where she cut out 14 minutes. Right. Okay. How do I know it's not out of context? Just so you know, I need to know that it's not out of context.
Okay, so go to 12 minutes 30.
Well, if you've got speakers, you might as well do it because I don't have speakers. So no, I don't. I just got my headphones. I've just got headphones. So I don't know if my mic will work either. Probably wouldn't be good enough. So
screen share. I'll turn on my speakers.
Right.
Mute yourself, Charming.
Hang on a sec.
But I do think that you have to sort of look at, you know, I'm sure there are cases where fathers force their daughters into marriage, you know, against their will when the daughter was absolutely 100% objecting to it. But when you sort of look at that soft power, you know, the Minister of the Interior of the home that we were talking about, you know, to assume that this is just like a routine practice of parents forcing their daughters to marry men that they absolutely do not want to marry, that there seems to be an implication that parents don't love their children, parents don't want what's best for their children, you know, parents don't consider their children's wishes and all of those things, and that women put in that position would not be able to persuade, and believe me, women are able, even you know, in their teens, to play both ends against the middle when it comes to their parents and get their mother on their side and get their mother advocating for their point of view, and or their father against the mother, right? And they play their parents against each other and all of those things, right? The idea that every single instance of an arranged marriage where the woman had no right to sign off on it was the equivalent of her being held down and forced to marry against her will is actually kind of, it's one of those black and white things that I think that people need to look at a little bit differently. I would, having the parents I had, knowing the parents that I know, I can't imagine if a young woman objected strenuously and said, you know, like I can't, I just will not, I don't want this, I really don't want this, that in, you know, in the majority of cases that the parents would be like, yeah, too bad. No, parents love their children, right?
Yeah, that's the quote people are taking issue to.
Sounds like. Oh wait. Did I say? Did you hear that sounds like bit then? Because I just okay. All right. Never mind. Fuck it. It sounds like she was asking for more nuance in trying to talk about it. I didn't hear anything about downplaying. Is that what you're saying? She was downplaying it?
That did sound like downplaying. I've heard this very same thing from feminists. Oh, you know, most men don't actually want to see their kids. So you know that discrimination in the family courts where they actually don't have a choice to see their kids.
That's a false equivalence.
How's that
a false equivalence? Because you're talking about feminists talking about men not wanting to see their kids when we know that men want to see their kids, and this is about forced marriages. The only thing that I really
Islam. One of the rules of Islam is to care about your children. To care about Islam more than your children.
I know that, but what I'm trying to say is the one thing I took issue there, which is probably not the only thing, but she was kind of basing it on the people she knows in the West, which is, I mean, you know, look, maybe parenting. I'm not a parent. I don't know. Maybe there is something universal in it, but I wouldn't compare it to people in the West, that's for sure. But I don't think her intention was to downplay it. I think she wants people to see more of the different sides, and you know, I know there are some people who are being forced into marriages that they don't want, and it's either that or honor killings. But there is that side to it, as she said, where maybe they can.
That no one's complaining about where, oh yeah, okay, I'm okay with marrying this person. No one has ever complained about
Well, my issue is why is it that it's only a uniquely female issue when there's another person who is being arranged?
Because guardianship laws require that they don't force men into marriage. There is actually men do actually have the legal right to refuse marriage.
Right. Okay.
And men also have the right to just divorce outright. They can just say, I divorce you 3 times, and that's automatically legal. Women have to go through a court system.
Okay. Right. Oh yeah.
Women have to go through a very complicated court system, and they might actually have to hire a lawyer, which is insanely expensive, which they might not be able to afford, especially if their husband doesn't give them the money for it.
Is that women have to go through court, and then they don't have the 3 times thing, and then they can only divorce if they have cause. They can only this is something that happens in Saudi, is that men have to then the husband actually has to agree to the divorce. He can veto it if he wants, even if there's cause. Well, there's an issue there, but at the same time, she's not trying to downplay that, is she? She's just trying to say, let's look at it from a different perspective.
But who is complaining about the times when women are okay with the marriage? No one's. I've not heard anyone complain about that.
I'm not sure.
It's the fact that there is a legal rights disparity there.
There is a disparity there. I'm not denying that.
Yes. And that's the problem. And I don't think talking about, oh well, you know, sometimes maybe you might find an unusually manipulative teenage girl who manages to like manipulate her parents into like getting her out of the marriage. Oh well, therefore, you know, we need to talk about these situations as well, because reasons.
Well, to create more nuance, that's what I think the reason is to have a more broader picture of the situation. I don't think just arguing at it from this one narrow point, from what she's saying, is
rights abuses, the thing that actually needs to change. We don't talk about like when we're in the men's rights movement. We don't talk about like the time. We don't talk about the times when men get out of divorce and it's like, oh yeah, you know. He kind of had to pay child support, but it wasn't that bad. That we wouldn't say, oh yeah, we need to talk about the times when men aren't fucked over in divorce, because you know we need nuance.
Again, what's that got to do with men's rights? What is it with these false equivalences?
How is that a false equivalence?
What's it got to do with the bloody issue?
The fact that it is downplaying.
She's not downplaying. I don't think that's her intention.
Well, it is downplaying.
Is it though?
Yes.
What, for asking?
It's taking focus away from the actual rights issue.
I don't think she's trying to.
Talk about the time when the rights aren't violated because nuance.
You just say, let's take that into account, though. What's wrong with that?
Why do we need to take that into account? It's sort of taken as a given that obviously is going to happen.
How is it downplaying though? Because she's saying we want a broader picture. We have to take this into account. We know all this is happening. Let's deal with that. But let's bear in mind that is also happening. Even though I do agree she's making it out like the teenagers are manipulating, which I think is stupid. I think most likely it's going to be them trying to persuade one parent to back them, see their perspective, which is probably more likely the case. Because I don't think anyone's this master. Well, maybe there's a few who are master manipulators, but like 1%. I don't see that. And also, I don't think that she should have used her own friends as some kind of thing. I mean, who knows? Maybe there's some universal parenting thing, but I wouldn't.
But then you agree that she is inaccurately presenting the picture, and she is inaccurately presenting the picture in a way that makes it seem less serious than it actually is.
I don't think that was the intention, though, and I don't think
the intention may not have been downplaying, but it came across as downplaying.
But then she wasn't downplaying then.
But if it comes across, if that is the message that people,
that does not mean that she
is. Then that is the actual content.
That's you saying that it is. That's you.
That's not just me. That's pretty much everyone who's heard that. Pretty much everyone I've heard, everyone I've talked to who has heard that.
People are disagreeing with you.
Huh? It's
pretty much. Are you sure? Pretty much everyone that's heard that, because it's not. There are people who are disagreeing with you right now.
I'm saying that there's a lot of people who normally would like Karen and support her, but then when they heard that sounded like feminist. That sounded like feminist rhetoric downplaying.
Yeah, but is it any different to Dee downplaying what's happening to men in the Middle East, which she has done?
How is she doing that?
Again, we've explained this before. But either one, denying outright that it's happening, or then when she's pressed on it...
She didn't deny it was outright.
Let me finish. Come on, mate. You've been butting in all the time, and I've been letting you speak. So please, for once, right, let me speak. All right? And by the way, yeah, as people agree with you, that's not an argument. But anyway, where was I now? Can you remind me where I was? I forgot where I was at now. Oh, fuck it. I forgot.
Great.
I forgot because you butted in when I was halfway through the sentence, so now I can't finish my point. Anyway, have you got any other points, mate?
Well, I didn't listen to the rest of your rant. I heard you accusing me of accusing certain people of Islam apology and not caring about men's issues.
I didn't say you did not care. You cared about more in the West than you did in the Middle East, and that's what it appeared to me. And look, I only did this because I care about you, man. I'm not. I just had stuff that I needed to express, really. And Twitter's probably not the place. This probably isn't the place, but I had to get it off my chest, man. I'm doing it because I'm worried about you. You know, I'm always worried about you. So
whatever. Okay.
Some of it was conjecture as well. Okay. Well.
Bye.
Is that it then? You finished? Is that all you need to say?
That's all I'm going to say.
Okay then. All right. That's it, people, then. That's the end. I think that's probably the end of it now, people. I think we're gonna. Yeah, and now that'll do. Yeah, nay, I don't know anymore. I don't know anymore. That's the end, people. See you later.